Okay, let's jump right into this explainer because we are standing on the edge of a massive, truly monumental shift in military technology. We're going to look at how a massive commercial engineering breakthrough arriving in 2026 is about to completely revolutionize heavy armored warfare, specifically focusing on the very heart of the modern main battle tank.
Now, you might think the biggest hurdle for future tanks is, thicker armor plating or maybe extending the cannon range, but I really want you to consider what genuinely limits these incredible machines. As we start loading these vehicles up with advanced 360-degree sensors, laser weapons, and drone integration, they become ridiculously power-hungry. The real bottleneck actually isn't the weapons themselves. It's how on earth we power them out in the mud and dirt of a battlefield without tying a 50-ton vehicle to some impossible logistics chain. And this quote right here brilliantly illustrates the staggering scale of our problem. According to a white paper from West Point Press, hitting a 15-minute charge time requires 17 megawatts. To put that into perspective, that is more than 20 times larger than the largest mobile generator the military currently even uses. You literally cannot drag an entire power plant out to the front lines just to keep your tanks running. And this extreme power demand, that's the main reason why we don't have a single all-electric combat vehicle deployed in the field today.
So that brings us to Section 1, the MBT power problem, which is definitely about way more than just an engine.
You've got to understand why the tank of the future is absolutely starving for electricity. For the Department of Defense, moving toward electrification has absolutely zero to do with climate politics. It is 100% about gaining a tactical warfighting advantage. We aren't looking at this through the lens of green energy at all. We are looking at it purely for lethality, resilience, and survivability on a highly contested, modern battlefield.
Let's move into Section 2, the limits of liquid batteries, and look at the intense trade-off between power and survivability. To get that warfighting advantage we just talked about, we have to deal with our current, incredibly flawed battery options. We are basically stuck between a rock and a hard place here. The old-school traditional lead-acid batteries are super heavy and they die way too quickly. Actually, every deep discharge progressively ruins them. But if we switch to the newer liquid lithium-ion batteries, the kind you'd find in a Tesla today, we introduce a terrifying vulnerability if the tank ever takes a ballistic hit. Think about it. You absolutely do not want a battery on a military vehicle that violently catches fire when shot. Because liquid lithium-ion batteries use this highly flammable organic solvent, thermal events can begin at just 90 degrees Celsius. If they get penetrated by shrapnel, they go into a rapid, catastrophic thermal runaway. So to stop that from happening, engineers are forced to bolt on massive, heavy ballistic plates just to protect the power source, which, completely defeats the entire purpose of trying to save weight in the first place. All right, Section 3, 2026, and the solid-state breakthrough. This is where we finally remove the liquid risk. This brings us to the absolute game-changer arriving right now in 2026. A solid-state battery fundamentally completely alters the chemistry by swapping out that highly flammable liquid for non-flammable solid materials. We're talking polymers, oxides, or sulfides. By removing the liquid, you suppress the growth of these tiny metallic whiskers. They're called dendrites that cause short circuits. And more importantly, you entirely eliminate that terrifying thermal runaway problem we were just talking about. Just to show you how huge this is, solid-state thermal events don't even begin until a blistering 247 degrees Celsius. That is an unbelievable leap from the 90 degrees of liquid lithium-ion. Under the intense stress and crazy heat of incoming fire or severe battlefield conditions, these solid batteries remain incredibly stable and, most importantly, safe for the crew. And they aren't just safer, the energy density practically doubles. We're talking about a jump from roughly 250 watt-hours per kilogram with current tech all the way up to a 2026 target of 450, with future potential hitting an insane 600. This is literally the holy grail for defense contractors. It means tanks can carry vastly more electrical power without adding a single extra pound of weight. It gives them the immense energy reserves they are so desperately craving. The best part? This isn't science fiction at all. We're entering phase 2 right now. We've seen semi-solid batteries recently, sure, but 2026 and 2027 mark the start of initial production lines actively pushing true solid-state technology out for real-world validation. It is the exact moment military testing programs can start cramming these high-density, fire-safe cells into their next-generation prototypes. So what can they do with all that power? Section 4, unleashing directed energy weapons, or as the industry calls it, the endless magazine. With this massive leap in safe energy density, we can finally unlock the most futuristic systems on the tank.
If you look at the modern battlefield today, it's just saturated with terrifying new threats: swarms of drones, loitering munitions, and those deadly top-attack anti-tank guided missiles. To actually survive all that, tanks need extreme power countermeasures. I mean, high-power microwaves to literally fry drone electronics, high-energy lasers to shoot down munitions, and lightning-fast active protection systems. Older batteries just couldn't handle the rapid, massive bursts of electricity these systems demand. But solid-state? It absolutely can. Lockheed Martin hit the nail on the head when they described directed energy weapons as an endless magazine that never runs out of bullets. Because these defensive systems rely entirely on electricity, your solid-state battery effectively becomes the tank's magazine. Think about that for a second. There is no more running out of expensive interceptor rockets. As long as your battery has juice, you have ammunition. It's a total paradigm shift for battlefield survival.
Next up, Section 5, Silent Mobility and Stealth, Operating in the Shadows. Beyond firing lasers, this breakthrough completely redefines stealth. Picture something called a silent watch. It's this super tense tactical mission where a tank commander completely shuts down the noisy, hot main engine to hide their acoustic and thermal signature in the dark. But they still need to run high-powered radar, 360-degree optics, and comms for up to 8 hours straight. The immense capacity of a solid-state battery handles that massive heavy burden smoothly, safely, and in total, absolute silence.
Oh, and here is a fantastic bonus. Because there is literally no liquid inside the battery to freeze, these systems operate flawlessly in extreme Arctic conditions. The data shows they retain massive power. We're talking up to 72% capacity, even at 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Whether you're in the freezing tundra or a scorching desert, the battery stays incredibly stable, delivering that high cranking power the exact second the crew needs to move. All right, let's wrap this up with Section 6, Redefining the Modern Battlefield with the 2026 MBT demonstrator.
Bringing it all together, defense contractors are already acting on this. The European Defense Fund has set out some rigorous requirements for their 2026 main battle tank demonstrator. They're asking for a smaller, 3-person crew that relies on heavy automation, seamless drone interoperability, directed energy protection, and extensive silent mobility. Every single one of these cutting-edge features demands massive, safe electrical power. The whole shebang fundamentally relies on the solid-state breakthrough to even function as designed. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating reality to ponder as we close out this explainer. We've spent an entire century equating tank dominance with the biggest gun and the thickest steel armor. But as we look toward the conflicts of tomorrow, it really might not be the heaviest metal that wins the next war. It might just be whoever commands the best battery chemistry. The nation that scales solid-state power first is going to give their forces an endless magazine, invisible stealth, and uncompromised safety. So definitely keep your eyes on 2026. It is going to be a massively pivotal year. Thanks for joining me.